Manic Monday. How are we doing, everybody? We are back, repping my salute to service, new sweatshirt, rocking it. Woo! Feeling good, feeling great. Move the Chains podcast. We're back, Manic Monday edition. So, as I mentioned to you guys yesterday, I don't want to give any spoilers away. I was going to talk about the Deebo Samuel trade and what that means for both the Commanders and the 49ers' future. And then the big shocking news of the weekend, Matt Stafford stays with the Rams in Los Angeles. Stays, doesn't have to leave. They restructure the contract. So, I wanted to start off with the Niners. So, Deebo Samuel, bye-bye. Bye, Felicia. He's out. Now, he did ask to get permission to get traded. Do I blame him at all? I do not. He's a war daddy, and I love Deebo Samuel. I must call him DK Metcalf, but I heard that rumor too. But my point is that I love Deebo Samuel, the player that he is. He's different. He's not like a receiver. He's like a running back. He's a wide back, whatever. My point is he's a big time player. Now, is he what he once was? Absolutely not. Just off last year. Maybe he might bounce back. I don't know. But my point is when I watch the Niners, and I wrote these notes down today because I saw NFL memes kind of break this down, is that I'm watching this movie, and we always talk about the windows in the NFL, right? You have this window. You got to hit on it. And I'm watching the Niners right now, and their window is just very, very shrinking by the day. And I wrote down these things. So Deebo Samuel gets traded for a 5th-round pick to Washington for basically a bag of chips, which, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a lot. But coming from a guy that, has not really, he's not the player he once was, but he still has value, I guess it kind of makes sense from the Commander's standpoint. It makes a hell of a lot of sense, and they might have won this trade. But when you're looking for the 49ers standpoint, and that's where I'm going to get to right now, is that the 49ers got problems right now. Deebo Samuel just got traded. Brandon Ayuk's coming off the ACL tear. He might get traded, even though they just gave him 4 years, $120 million. Woof. Then you got Christian McCaffrey coming off major injuries. Where's he at in his career? He's an older player. Been elite since 2017. He's had a lot of wear and tear on those tires. They've rode him like Seahorse, Seabiscuit. He's crazy. And then you got Trent Williams, who's old as dirt. And then, sorry, my phone's having problems here. And then you got to pray Brock Purdy right now. $50 million. No. Do not pay Brock Purdy $50 million. If you give him the good price, which is like $28, $30, fine. I'll deal with that. But he's not worth more than that. I've said this before. The Buffalo game, to me, screamed in my head, not worth it. Because, we said this about Dak Prescott. Like John Gruden always went, I like that Dak Prescott, And I kind of look at it from that perspective. Sorry, I had to take something off here. But my point is, I don't see it. He's fine. And he's a system quarterback, which everybody gets convoluted or whatever. But he fits in Kyle Shanahan's offense. You put him in another offense, Jacksonville, somebody else, not working. So he's very valuable for 49ers. I'm not saying he's not. And I like Brock Purdy to a degree. But come on, like $50 million? You're looking at that division, San Francisco got an uphill battle right now. Because Rams are getting better. Their defense is getting better. They were right there with Philadelphia. I mean, if I'm looking at neck and neck, and I'll get to the Rams in a second, but that's in your division, San Francisco. You got to do something. And Seattle ain't far off. I've been screaming this for the last couple of years. They remind me of Tampa Bay before they got Tom Brady. They're right there on that doorstep. Geno Smith's not bad. You could have a hell of a lot worse. But you put an elite quarterback there with the weaponry that they have, the 3 wide receiver monster stacks that they have, and then you got the running game, and then you got, if their offensive line gets better, and you got a young defense who's long and lean and nasty, kind of reminds me of the LOB days, but not really, but has that type of element to it, then maybe you can work some. But right now, 49ers are shot. And I got to throw this out, because this kind of bothered me. And I was thinking about this on the way home tonight. It's great having you guys in. Is Kyle Shanahan's an interesting guy. His dad, Mike Shanahan's a legend. Won 2 Super Bowls, obviously. The running game system with the zone and all that, it's legendary, and I get it. But Kyle kind of drives me nuts a little bit. And I respect the hell out of him. He's a smart guy. He's creative. He's intense. He's got that in him. But to not go to the combine after the year that you had didn't sit right with me. It's one thing, like I know McVay and LaFleur and those guys are all linked together, is that I can understand, like, when the Rams won the Super Bowl. Like, Sean McVay now is like, do I need to go? Probably not. Now, it would help, but the Rams were just in the playoffs. They're fine. But the Niners not being in it after you having a shitty year, season from hell, shitty season, and you think you're too good for that? That doesn't sit well with me. From a guy that's blown 4 Super Bowls. Cuatro. Trying to touch him on my Spanish. But 4 Super Bowls, you blown. And you think you're just too good for that? Yeah, this is just screaming. Again, this is just screaming to me. Windows closed for San Francisco. It's over. You had your shot and you blew it. Now, are they going to still be good? They still have good players? Absolutely, no doubt. They'll draft well. They do this all the time. You know, we look past all the bullshit. You trading all those picks for Trey Lance. You taking Solomon Thomas, and then you take Reuben Foster. We look all past that because you've been winning. And that's great. But lately, I'm starting to wonder where the flying hell is going. So, and for the Redskins, I want to touch on them for a second. I know I was going Niners. This is a really good signing for the Redskins. Now, I will argue, though, and Derek Solomon texted me this yesterday, I did make the prediction that was the place I think he could fit. And Derek texted me yesterday, he's like, buddy, you're right on the money, which I got to give myself a little bit of credit. Not too much, but I just had a hunch. Adam Peters from San Francisco, kind of connect the dots. Jaden Daniels. I know Brandon Ayuk wanted to go play with Jaden Daniels in Washington last year before he signed the contract with the 49ers to get that big money because they played at Arizona State. They were part of that upset win against Justin Herbert and the Oregon Ducks in 2019. I remember I was at Mitchell's at the time watching that. I was on one of the background TVs. So I do understand from Washington's perspective, you got to go all in. And I'm with you. They still got a long way to go. I think they have a really good young team with pieces. You got a lot of cap space. You got some money. Now, you got to allocate your resources, got to spend it right. I get all that. But I think that's a good move. And I think the Redskins won this trade. Now, the trade is not finalized till March 12th. So next week by sometime it will be. But that's a pretty damn good steal. For 5th-round pick, getting Deebo Samuel, I think it's pretty good. So, I want to touch on this. So, as you guys know, rep my Raiders. Matt Stafford was going to become a Raider. I thought that was going to happen. And it did. And I look around with the Raiders, and I'm glad Matt Stafford didn't take the deal. As much as it pains me, I'm glad he didn't. Because, to me, and again, I've been proud of what the Raiders are doing in terms of being grown-ups, making smart decisions, being a proud Raiders fan, with Pete Carroll, with Spytech, and I feel like they're moving in the right direction. But Matt Stafford made the right call in not wanting to go to the Raiders. And he made the right choice by not going to the Giants. Giants are just a shit show, man. They are a clown show right now, and it's not even funny. Okay? They are just bad. Although I do respect Brian Daboll as a coach. But he made the right move. I really thought that if he went to the Raiders that, okay, let's try and win now. I get it. But now the Raiders got to go in this mode where it's quarterback. You got to take one. Now, again, they can go different routes. I've been mentioning this. So I was kind of bummed Matt Stafford didn't come to the Raiders. I would have loved it. But I don't feel like he wants to be remembered that way. I will throw this out. If he does win another Super Bowl, which I think the Rams are close, very close. They're not far off from the Eagles. And they're kind of right there in that bubble with Detroit and Green Bay. And I'll throw Minnesota in there. And I got to throw Washington in there. They can have another added up with the season. I think the Rams are right there. And I think Matt Stafford made the right call because he goes, well, we were like 12 yards away from the Super Bowl. So The Raiders aren't there. And until the Raiders do change my mind otherwise, it's not going to matter. Because we got to get all of our shit lined right and start winning consistently. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Stafford thing. I don't love Stafford's wife. I think she needs to shut the fuck up and just pipe down, Ma. Stop complaining. Stop bitching. I don't need you going on a podcast talking about, oh, well, I slept with your backup just to piss you off. Like, I know it was old time. I don't care. I don't need to hear it. There's certain shit you just don't talk about, but whatever is what it is. But I don't love his wife, running her yapper about Cooper Kupp. I got news for you, sweetheart. Kelly, pay home attention to your 4 kids, okay? Stop dabbling in all this other bullshit. First of all, it's a business. NFL's a business. It's Wall Street on grass. Figure it out. So, Matt Stafford made the right call. I'm bummed he didn't come to the Raiders because I thought that would be the best fit out of the teams that were interested in him. Cleveland, yuck. Giants, boo. Ugh, gross. So bad, and they're just so ugly. It's like looking at the back of a dog's ass. It looks awful. But I will say now the Raiders got some chances. They could don't take a quarterback. I'll tell you what, I've been reading a lot about Milroe, and I've been reading a lot about Will Howard. I want neither of those two. I saw it live with my own 2 eyes Saturday afternoon. Pitiful. Pitiful. I just was not impressed. Not impressed. And Jalen Milroe, to me, is an Anthony Richardson clone. To me. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm happy for Matt Stafford staying in L.A. If he gets the second Super Bowl, he's getting in the Hall of Fame. No questions asked, because he's got 2 rings, unlike Rodgers, unlike Favre. He's going to fall into that with Manning, Montana, those type of guys. That's the impact he's going to leave on this game if he wins the second Super Bowl, which I do believe the Rams have the capability and capacity to do that. So, that's all I want to touch on here tonight. Stay tuned. I got more content coming. I'm going to try and manufacture some stuff, but I appreciate all my fans. Jennifer Bayer, I got to give a shout out to you. I love you. Much love, boo. And one of my favorite managers, but I just appreciate everybody listening. Love my fans. Love you guys chiming in every night. Have a great Manic Monday. Adios. Godspeed.